Hey, what up, guys? It's Business Gamer here. Apologies for no other videos. I've just been busy. I've been doing other things, so I thought I'd just make a quick video today because I recently got this Mortal Kombat 11, one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's really up there with Halo and Mass Effect, and I've just finished the story, and I just really want to give my opinions on it and kind of just talk about it. Firstly, I talk about the positives. I liked the cinematic feel this time around. Again, we saw it with MKX, but in MK11, the graphics have gone up to 11 times better, pardon the pun there. There's really good stories in there with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Finally, we get that chapter, the Fire and Ice chapter, perfectly titled. It was really cool to see them team up and fight together compared to other times where it's just the same old cliche like we saw in MK9 and MKX when there's just a mandatory fight against one another. This time they're teaming up and fighting against Kronika, which is cool. I like what they do with Liu Kang. Raiden is pretty awesome. However, I'll get to the negatives about Raiden in a second. I like the time stuff in certain ways because it was cool seeing young Johnny and old Johnny. It was really funny seeing how that character's matured, and credit to the Rise, they made it developed. The characters were there. They were all sort of had their own little moments to gleam. The heroes anyway. Kitana and the Shao Kahn story, I really liked that, how she takes over the rule over NetherRealm. I really liked how they explored, races like the Tarkatans, because Baraka was there, and it's really interesting because for me, Baraka in MK9, the last game he was in, and even MKX, he was just there. He never really added anything besides getting beaten up a lot. But this one, they've enhanced his story. They talked about his role in the Turkan Empire and his people. Now, for me, the negatives, there's a lot of negatives for me, and I think there's one that stands out with just beatable characters, people like Aaron Black, Cabal, Scarlet, characters which I was really hoping would get more time in the story, were just just there to filler characters, go beat them up. Aaron Black would always come out of nowhere, and you'll just have to fight him, and you beat him easily, and then you'd be like, oh, what's the point? Because you don't really, his character's still unexplored, and I feel like he's gonna just get executed for the next one if they make a next one, because not a lot of people are interested in his lore because there is simply not enough lore. He's a cool looking character. He's a cowboy, for God's sakes, in a role full of ninjas and cyborgs. He should have some interesting story. And again, they've done this with MKX. Characters, and you don't see this in Injustice, by the way, characters who are in the story but not playable. It really annoyed me seeing Cyrax there, but I know for a fact Cyrax is probably going to come in later as a purchasable character, not on day one, and he looks clean and polished. I think you fight him. I think you do. I don't know. I can't remember now. But, he looks ready to play as, and he looks so cool. And Shiva as well. Shiva looked like an interesting character. However, if you don't get to play as them, you're not really interested in them. And it's a shame that they're not playable. And for me, what they're doing really badly is, well, Ed Boon has said this is the last one in this kind of trilogy. I don't know what he's going to do next with Mortal Kombat. But with MKX, they left it with Dark Raiden. He looked pretty cool. He looked pretty menacing, and he looked like he was going to be the main villain of the game. And I was really looking forward to that. Past Liu Kang having to fight Dark Raiden, or past Raiden fighting Raiden in nowadays. But what happened is we got a character just disappeared like that, and it all became about Kronika, which I get. It's totally understandable. She is supposed to be the main bad guy, but it just wasn't interesting. It was just so boring, and Kronika's kind of cliche. Characters like Sentron, they didn't really add much to the story, and I felt like the story, if I had to give it a review, I'd say a 7 out of 10. It's solid, it's strong. However, it's still not got that MK9 quality where virtually every character gets their own chapter, virtually every character gets their own time to shine, and it left me with a satisfying ending. This ending, I felt it was decent, depending on which rounds you win against Kronika. I got the ending where I beat Kronika twice, because, I'm great at the game, and I got the one where, Liu Kang and Kitana rule over the realms now and rewrite history. I feel like it's a cop-out. I feel like they're doing what they did at MK9, and it kind of sucks that they're not building on anything. Each game is just rewrite now, not building into a trilogy. But, there were some moments I really liked, like Scorpion and Hanzo Asashi, aka past Scorpion and future Scorpion, fighting one another, learning about each other. And it was pretty cool, and they developed that story well because he is the poster boy in Mortal Kombat. But I'd like to see what they do. I'd like to see what you guys thought about the story. Let me know. Thanks.